Are you sexually liberated? Like, are you absolutely free to do all of the wild and crazy stuff that you want to do in the bedroom? Ask yourself, what would it look like for you to be completely erotically unleashed? I feel like this term sexual liberation is thrown around a lot. And your first thought might be like, look, Caitlin, it's 2020 something. No shit, I'm sexually liberated. Aren't we all? In this video, I'm going to explain why this isn't the case for most of us and why a true lack of freedom in a few critical areas of your sexuality may be the thing that is holding you back from having the incredible sex life that you want and deserve. Learning how to claim true sexual freedom can be as simple as a mindset shift, and it opens up a whole new world of pleasure and connections. And by the way, women are drawn to this. It makes sex and intimacy better, and a truly sexually liberated person will see the benefits in every aspect of their lives, both in and out of the bedroom. What makes up sexual freedom and how do you achieve it? Well, buckle up, because here's my list of the 4 key sexual freedoms and how to bring them into your life for better sex, easier connections, and all around more joy. And make sure to stick around until the end, because the last one on this list is the puzzle piece that holds them all together. Because without it, the rest pretty much ceased to exist entirely. So let's dive in with number 1, the freedom of non-judgment. So you wonder if you're sexually liberated? Well, if you feel shame anywhere around your sexuality, then it looks like there's some work still to do. Regardless of what gender you identify as, shame and self-judgment are something that many of us struggle to overcome at some point in our lives. For men, this often presents as performance anxiety. Maybe you worry about how long you will last or whether or not you'll be able to get it up. Maybe you worry about whether or not you give great head or how you stack up compared to her previous lovers. Women often worry about having enough sexual experience or whether that they'll be judged for sleeping with too many people. We worry about what our bodies look like, whether our boobs are nice or our vulvas are weird or smelly. No matter what, if you're hung up on judging yourself, then you are going to struggle to be present with your partner. And you may even struggle to put yourself out there to find a partner to begin with. The key to liberating yourself from judgment is understanding this one simple truth. Sex is about connection. When you're sleeping with someone, it's because you're into them and want to give and receive pleasure.
It is a love based on giving and receiving.
I mean, think about it. When was the last time that you were sleeping with someone and you were judging them the whole time? I'm gonna hope never. Shift the focus away from judgment and performance and more towards connection and exploration. It is not a contest. There are no trophies. Well, actually, one time I did give someone a trophy at an orgy, but usually there are no trophies. It's a fun journey and it's got no destination, which brings me to my next point. Number 2, the freedom of exploration. Have you ever heard the term "don't yuck my yum"? It's something that we sex educators throw around a lot. And in a nutshell, it means that we should never put anything down that brings someone else pleasure. The incredible thing about sex is that there are a billion ways to get off. And a truly sexually free person gives themselves permission to explore anything that excites them. You like feet? Amazing! There are lots of people who love to get their toes sucked. And then there are people out there who are totally not into it, and that is okay too. The key is understanding that we are all different. So if you have a kink or two, more power to you. In a sexually free world, we're able to explore without judgment or fear. And the same goes for exploring your sexual orientation. A sexually free person can explore sex with all different folks of different gender identities. And as long as you're 2 consenting adults, it should be on the table without fear of repercussion. I have a male friend who identifies as straight and is in a long-term relationship with a woman. But when he's been single, he's had a few sexual encounters with men. In the end, he found out that it really wasn't for him, but he allowed himself to be curious and give it a try. And this is the kind of freedom that I'm talking about. Now, I'm not saying that you have to try some girl on girl or guy on guy action to be sexually free. If you're not into it, that is totally cool. That's the part about freedom. I'm saying that in a sexually free society, it simply isn't that big of a deal to explore. Which brings me to number 3, the freedom of fluidity. As people, we change. We have phases. We get tired of things. We get interested in things. We move on to the next thing. It doesn't mean that the things we loved weren't meaningful or that they weren't a very real part of us. It just means that we morph, we grow into the newest, latest version of ourselves. And our sexuality is no different. In order to be truly sexually free, you have to give yourself as well as your partners permission to grow and change in whatever direction life leads them. This is critical whether you're male or female, single or in a committed relationship. Allowing yourself to change opens you up to an entire world of pleasure and excitement. And allowing your partners to change helps them to grow with you, together, not apart. I have worked with so many couples who run into this struggle. The things that used to work for them no longer do, and suddenly they find themselves with a serious intimacy issue. But so much of the time, they haven't even stopped to consider that the old things no longer serve them, and it's time to re-meet each other based on where they are as individuals in this present moment. So many people hold on too tight to what they're familiar with, but if you hold something too tight, you're way more likely to break it. Allowing yourselves as well as your partners to change over time and trusting that whatever is meant for you will stay with you is the ultimate and most beautiful way to give yourself, as well as the people who you're with, more freedom. Number 4, the freedom to choose. Now, the final thing on my list of sexual freedoms is so basic. This freedom is so elemental that it runs through everything else that I have said in this video, and it's the freedom to choose. Now, this freedom is absolutely critical for both men and women. In order to be sexually free, you need to be able to choose who you have sex with, when, and how. And you also need to have access to options in case things don't go the way you're hoping. I'm talking about active consent without fear of repercussion. I'm talking about being made fully aware of any health risks like STIs and living in a world where there is plenty of accessible healthcare free of shame. And I'm talking about having the choice of what you want to do in the case of an unwanted pregnancy. It is so simple. In order to be sexually free, you need to have autonomy over your body. This seems completely obvious, right? No one can be sexually free if a broken condom results in a child that you're not ready for. No one can be sexually free if they're afraid to say no, or if the people that they're having sex with are feeling uncomfortable or pressured. This is an issue that affects both genders, but I have to point out that women face much scarier repercussions. Regardless, this is a man's issue as much as it is a woman's, and understanding this will bring you closer to the women in your life and closer to true sexual freedom. And this is especially important to bring up now because over the last few years, decisions have been made across the United States and other countries that are significantly impacting our ability to make choices about our own bodies. We are seriously at risk of losing basic bodily autonomy. Some of us already have. And if that happens, then any form of sexual liberation is completely off the table. But there's one thing that you can do, and that is vote for representatives that share your values. You know I don't get political on this channel, but I am a sexual health professional, and I simply wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't stand up for basic sexual health rights. So please educate yourself on your local and your national candidates and register to vote. Together, we have the power to create the kind of world we want to see. A world where basic freedoms aren't at risk. A world where we get to make our own decisions on our own terms. A world filled with more pleasure. I'm Caitlin V, and thank you for watching. Thank you for getting out to the polls and doing your job in creating a future that we can all enjoy. Thank you, and I will see you here next week.